Life is often described as a winding road, full of unexpected turns and changes in scenery. It's a journey filled with both breathtaking vistas and challenging climbs. Sometimes the road ahead is bright and easy, bathed in sunshine, offering smooth passage and clear skies. These are the moments we cherish, the times when everything seems to fall into place effortlessly. But life also presents us with stretches that are dark and steep, filled with uncertainty and difficulty. These are the times when the path ahead seems shrouded in shadow, and the climb feels almost impossible. We all face moments when the path gets tough, when obstacles appear insurmountable and the journey becomes a struggle. It's part of the human experience. And during these challenging times we may feel lost or alone, as if we're the only ones facing such adversity. The isolation can be overwhelming. Maybe you're struggling right now, grappling with a situation that feels overwhelming and difficult to navigate. Perhaps the source of your struggle lies with family, with strained relationships or unresolved conflicts creating tension and heartache. Or maybe it's work, with the pressures of deadlines demanding colleagues or a job that simply doesn't fulfill you weighing heavily on your mind. It could be health, with physical or mental challenges impacting your well-being and making each day a struggle. Or maybe it's simply a heavy heart, burdened by grief, disappointment, or a sense of unfulfilled longing. In these times when the weight of the world feels too heavy to bear, it's easy to want to give up, to surrender to the darkness and abandon hope. But faith is that small, steady light in the darkness, a flicker of hope that refuses to be extinguished, even when surrounded by despair. It's not about having all the answers, about understanding the mysteries of the universe or knowing exactly what the future holds. It's not about pretending everything's perfect, about putting on a brave face and denying the pain and struggles you're experiencing. Faith is the quiet voice that says, even in the midst of chaos and uncertainty, you're not alone, there is hope. It's a reminder that even in the darkest of times you are not forsaken, and that brighter days lie ahead. The Bible is full of people, ordinary individuals who faced extraordinary circumstances, who faced huge challenges, just like us. Their stories offer comfort and inspiration, reminding us that we are not alone in our struggles. They felt fear and pain, they experienced doubt and despair, they wrestled with their own limitations and imperfections, but they found strength in faith, in their belief in something greater than themselves, in their connection to a power that sustained them through the darkest of times. Their stories remind us across the centuries, God is with us in our struggles, offering comfort, guidance, and unwavering support. Even in the darkest valleys, when shadows loom large and hope seems distant, hope can bloom, pushing through the cracks of despair, reminding us of the resilience of the human spirit. And courage can rise, empowering us to face our fears and overcome the obstacles in our path. Love can heal the deepest wounds, mending broken hearts and restoring shattered spirits. Let's look at some of these stories, these timeless accounts of faith, resilience, and the enduring power of the human spirit, and find light for our own journey, inspiration to guide us through the darkness and hope to illuminate the path ahead. With faith, we can get through anything, overcoming any challenge, and emerging stronger and more resilient on the other side. Let's walk this road together, supporting each other, encouraging each other, and reminding each other that we are not alone. Joseph, a young man full of promise, had big dreams, dreams that painted a bright future. He envisioned a life of purpose and significance, a life where he could make a real difference in the world. But his brothers, consumed by jealousy and resentment, betrayed him in a cruel act of sibling rivalry. They callously sold him as a slave, shattering his dreams and casting him into a life of servitude. Alone in a foreign land, far from his family and everything he knew, his dreams seemed shattered beyond repair, lost in the vast expanse of his despair. Despite the injustice, he worked hard, giving his best even in the face of adversity. But fate dealt another cruel blow. He was falsely accused of a crime he didn't commit, and unjustly thrown into prison, his spirit tested to its limits. Years passed in darkness, seemingly endless years of confinement and uncertainty. But Joseph, with unwavering resolve, held on to faith, refusing to let despair consume him. He trusted that God had a plan for his life, a purpose hidden within the pain, even when he couldn't see it, even when the path ahead was shrouded in darkness. That hope, that unwavering belief kept his heart from growing bitter, preserving his compassion and empathy. One day, through a series of miraculous events, Joseph was called upon to interpret Pharaoh's dream, a task that would change his destiny forever. God's divine wisdom, shining through Joseph, lifted him from the depths of prison. elevating him to become Egypt's second in command, a position of immense power and responsibility. Joseph's incredible story shows us that our pain, no matter how deep, isn't the end of our story. God, in His infinite wisdom and grace, can turn our hardest, most challenging moments into something beautiful, something meaningful, something that serves a greater purpose. Even when life feels utterly hopeless, when we feel lost and abandoned, God is working behind the scenes, orchestrating events and shaping our destinies in ways we cannot comprehend. Trust that your struggles, your trials, and your tribulations have a purpose, a reason for being. Hope is believing that God is actively at work, even in the darkest of times, even when we can't see the light. Joseph's remarkable journey reminds us, don't give up on your dreams, don't give up on yourself, and most importantly, don't give up on God. Your story isn't over. There are still chapters to be written, adventures to be had, and blessings to be received. Hold on to hope, for even in the darkest night, the dawn will eventually break, bringing with it renewed strength and unwavering faith. David, in his youth, was a shepherd, tending to his flock with care and diligence. He wasn't a warrior, trained in combat or skilled in the arts of war. His strength wasn't in brute force, but in his heart. When everyone else, including seasoned soldiers, feared Goliath, the towering giant who mocked their armies, David saw things differently. He didn't see an insurmountable obstacle, but an opportunity to demonstrate the power of his God. He remembered how God had helped him face lions, protecting his sheep from their ferocious attacks, and bears, those massive creatures that threatened his flock. God had delivered him then, and he knew he would deliver him now. David's courage came not from physical strength or military training, but from unwavering faith, a deep-seated belief in the Almighty. It was faith, not strength, that fueled his resolve. He knew that with God, even the smallest among us can overcome the greatest challenges. He faced the giant, not with sword and shield, but with just a simple sling, a tool he used daily to protect his sheep, and 5 smooth stones gathered from the riverbed, his ammunition against the seemingly invincible foe. Goliath laughed, mocking the young shepherd and his humble weapons, confident in his own size and strength. But David trusted God, knowing that the battle was not his, but the Lord's. He knew that the power of God was bigger, stronger, and more mighty than any giant that stood before him. God was bigger than any giant. With one stone launched with faith and precision, he defeated Goliath, proving that with God, all things are possible. True courage isn't the absence of fear. It's not about being fearless. It's trusting God even when you're afraid, even when your knees are shaking and your heart is pounding. We all face giants in our lives. Fear, challenges, impossible odds that seem insurmountable, circumstances that leave us feeling helpless. Like David, we can remember the times when God has been faithful, and know that God is on our side, always ready to fight for us. With His strength and His unwavering support, we can face anything that comes our way, knowing we are not alone. Don't let fear stop you from pursuing your purpose. Let faith give you the courage to step out and face your giants head on. Remember, the battle ultimately belongs to God, and He will fight for you. So step forward in faith and watch God work miracles in your life. Jesus told a story about love in action. A man was attacked and left for dead on the road. Religious leaders passed by, ignoring his pain, but a Samaritan, someone considered an enemy, stopped to help. He cared for the man's wounds and made sure he was safe. The Samaritan didn't just feel compassion, he acted on it. Love isn't just a feeling, it's what we do for others, even when it's hard. True love crosses boundaries and helps anyone in need. It's about seeing a person, not a label. The Good Samaritan shows us, real love takes action. Who can you help today? Love is the greatest commandment. Let's live it out. Joseph's hope, David's courage, the Samaritan's love, these stories are invitations to live by faith. When you feel hopeless, remember Joseph, God has a plan. When you're afraid, remember David, God is your strength. When you see someone in need, remember the Samaritan love takes action. Your life is a story God is writing. Even in hard chapters, He's working for your good. Hold on to faith, even if it's small. Talk to God about your struggles. Let these stories remind you of His faithfulness. You are not alone. God is with you every step. Your struggle is not the end. Trust Him with your story. His hope, courage, and love will carry you through.